again, welcome back to the Sterling Heights Public Library. I'm Brent, and we are going to talk a little bit about knife skills again today. Now, the last couple segments I've been showing you have been for things that would accompany meat or use as a dip or whatever. So let's talk a little bit about how to do meat. So a couple of things to consider here. Go ahead and come down to the board, and I'll show you real quick. Now, last time you saw me do a lime. We're going to touch on a lemon. Pretty much the same thing. If you're going to squeeze this for juice, bring it across this way rather than lengthwise. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that aside for a minute here. Now we are going to be cutting some raw chicken here in a minute. And one thing to consider anytime you're doing raw meat, definitely if you're also doing vegetables at the same time, do your vegetables first and tuck them off to the side somewhere before you do anything with meat. You don't want to get any kind of cross-contamination with raw meat and vegetables. So one thing that comes in really handy if you're going to be doing anything like this, the old standard latex glove. This will let you work with this stuff without it getting directly on your hands. Still a good idea to wash up afterwards, but this makes things easier. You can also use a pair of tongs to handle things if you want to. Now, this is just your standard boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's easy to work with, easy to find, reasonably priced in most cases, actually a little bit less than it used to be a few years ago. So, one thing that you may find though is that a lot of times these things are huge. Not always, but this particular one's probably up over 10 ounces, which is one heck of a portion size. And there's a couple of ways to bring this down to a little bit more manageable size. Now, if you're going to be pan frying or grilling these things, also take into consideration that this pointed end down here is a lot thinner than this end over here. It's not going to cook very evenly. So, a couple of things you can do to make that a little bit more even. Now, if you lay it down on the board like this, get your knife, make sure this thing is nice and sharp, and then just kind of come at it like this. Keep your hand out of the way. It's going to cook a lot more evenly this way and a lot faster. Also, if you're going to be doing any kind of marinating, it will actually absorb the marinade better. You get a lot better flavor because you got more surface area. Set that over here. And I'll show you a second way to do the same kind of idea. So this is great if you're going to be pan frying or grilling, but let's say you want to make kebabs. We were talking about tzatziki before, right? So if you want to make chicken kebab, same type of thing, but go ahead and cut it into pieces like so, and get yourself something that's a nice solid bite-sized piece, maybe even 2 bites. You don't want these things to dry out too fast if you're doing them on skewers. Again, it will cook more quickly and more evenly if you do this, and it'll also absorb any seasonings or marinades you put on it better. So we're going to go ahead and just put those right in this container real quick. And anytime you're marinating, a glass or plastic container is a really nice idea. You can also use a zip top bag. That is a great way to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of salt. This one here is actually just seasoned salt. I love this stuff. It's certainly not the only thing you can use. You can use regular salt and a little bit of pepper and some fresh herbs, dried herbs, anything like that works just fine. We're going to take a little bit of, I'm going to get that glove off my hand here real quick so I can open the olive oil without getting chicken all over it. Drizzle of oil. And that lemon, we're going to go ahead and squeeze that in here as well. And Again, if you need to kind of maximize the amount of juice, you just dig your thumb right in there, mash the inside a little bit, and that will help to get all the juice out of the lemon. Now, since I did take my glove off, I'm going to go ahead and just use the tongs here to give those a little bit of a toss to kind of coat everything a little bit. Now you got the lemon juice in there, so you don't want to necessarily do this too far in advance. You know, maybe 6 or 8 hours, possibly overnight, but if you leave anything with a lot of lemon juice in it too long, it will eventually start to alter the protein in the meat. So just make sure that we get everything kind of nicely coated there. We'll put a little plastic wrap over the top of this, tuck it in the fridge. Keep that covered up for a little while, and keep it on a low shelf in your fridge. You don't want this here to be dripping on anything else. Shouldn't drip anyway, but okay, so this here, when it's closer to cooking time, you can either saute or put this on skewers and grill it. Works out really well if you're doing this. This here is kind of a Mediterranean idea with the oil and the lemon. You wanted to take this maybe in a more you know, southwestern direction. Throw a little chili powder and a little regular salt and maybe a little bit of lime juice. That would go good with the guacamole. So that's about what I've got for you today. Again, thanks for coming, and we'll probably be doing this again soon.